It is the 3rd of February, 1954. To the shores of this, her southern realm, the royal barge bears Elizabeth II to this youthful nation. They bid their sovereign and her husband welcome.
If you don't know Bondi Beach, you don't know your Sydney, on the most famous stretch of sand in the world.
The Queen returns to Australia, to Canberra in its Jubilee year.
The first visit of this tour is to Flemington Racecourse, where Her Majesty and His Royal Highness can always be sure of an enjoyable afternoon. Her Majesty has a special interest in the next race. It's been named for her the Queen's Cup.
The Queen and the Duke of Edinburgh arrive at Sydney's Kingsford Smith Airport. Thousands of people had braved the weather to greet them. The royal family arrived at the Royal Easter Show in a carriage built in Europe a century ago. Here they were met by Mr. Vincent Fairfax, President of Australia's Royal Agricultural Society.
The Sydney Opera House, now, at last, complete.
I join with you, Mr. Premier, in paying tribute to the many people whose devoted efforts and inspiration over more than a decade have combined to bring this unique conception to fruition.
The main event of the day was the Jubilee Cup. The Queen doesn't bet, not even indirectly, says her press secretary, but she obviously gets as much pleasure out of picking the winner as the rest of us.
The past 12 months have been particularly eventful for Her Majesty, the Queen's tour of countries, and so the demands continue day in and day out. But Her Majesty will really enjoy tonight, and so should all of us.
Seems to be in a beautiful bright yellow dress, which I'm just trying to look at a little bit more closely. Greeting the Queen, Sir Alexander, Chairman of the Commonwealth Games Federation.
As the Queen takes her seat in the stand, the last 3 field events get underway. The men's shot put, triple jump and javelin.
Probably the most significant thing the Queen will do on this visit was to sign the Proclamation of Australia Act 1986. This severs the remaining constitutional links with Britain, links with Parliament, the judiciary and the Privy Council. Only the link with the Crown remains. Thus Australia is now nearer to becoming a republic if the people so desire.
For Her Majesty the Queen, getting to Expo proved less of a scramble. She travelled at a more leisurely pace in a flotilla up the wide, winding Brisbane River. The Royal Ensign fluttered from the bow as the royal couple took in the sights.
I now declare World Expo 88 well and truly open.
The Queen's visit to Australia seemed unaffected by the controversy surrounding the Governor-General.
Your Majesty, welcome to the Sunshine State.
She just said thank you and she appreciates it. She was really happy to be in Australia.
That's how she made me feel. She made me feel like the Queen.
I would like to express my gratitude to you all for the warmth of the welcome Prince Philip and I have received at every stage.
This is a very happy occasion for Prince Philip and me. When in October 1973 I opened this building, it was universally agreed that the Opera House was something more than a performing arts centre, more than a great work of architecture.
Even after nearly 60 years, it was a day to savour. In the centre of Melbourne, the Queen came across a seemingly endless line of people wanting to meet her. So many flowers that even her British detectives lent a hand to gather them. And there, lending a hand too, was the Duke of Edinburgh, making sure that one little girl didn't miss her moment with the Queen. Then it was on to a ride on one of Melbourne's signature vehicles, a tram. They trundled past the thousands who'd come along to see them.